Yeah, yeah. Let's get to some quick Q&A before we get out of here, family. Absolutely amazing show. Oh yeah, what I was gonna say with the Godfest, it's gonna be on Patreon. So that's another thing. If you are a Patreon, it's gonna be recorded, and I'm gonna throw it on the Patreon for the family. So if you're a Patreon member, you will be able to view the non-ether Godfest. All right, family. Let's get to some okay, we're gonna start with the question I see right in front of me right now. Static Shock says, who are the modern day Washita people and what is their importance today?
All of the tribes are scattered across the land. Um, and the Washita was a family network. Most of them kept the last name in English is commonly called Washington. The name Washington comes from the name Washita, which comes from the name Wachita, right? And the bigger the family get, you have what's called sub-tribes, where Uncle Philip didn't want to stay in Big Papa house. He got too big for his britches. So Big Mama sent him to go set up another farm over there in another family unit. He became the chief of his own clan and he gave it his own name. So you can't say no one people is any one thing now because of the fact of us being scattered across the land. But we can trace back to where our longest and said, like I can trace back to Macomb, Magnolia, Mississippi on my motherland and back to Canton on my fatherland. Right. So I know that on my fatherland had a heavy Chata influence. And one of my aunties said she was Chata, one of my father's aunties, and told me we were Chata. On my mother's side, she was down there, and I don't have the. They say we Cherokee, but there's no record of Cherokee that I was able to find from my grandfather's land down in Magnolia, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a lot of them are Chickasaw and Chata and just Mississippi. Right? Even when you say Mississippian, you could just as well say Olmec, Inca, Mayan, Aztec. It's the same people in different time periods. And that's why they try to trick us and tell us they different people at different times.
Mm-hmm. Next question, Rod. So, they want to know, who was the black lady found on the crashed spacecraft on the backside of the moon?
They call her Mona Lisa. And she had this particular breathing apparatus on and looking apparatus. I'm not sure. I don't think they found that on the moon. I think they found her in Arizona. That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But the moon is a whole spaceship, so.
Right. Next question. This is I don't. They just said, how about the Negas? Well, I don't know what they want to know. It's kind of
the Nagas Kings was from the Indus Valley. It was a time where world power was shifted from empire to empire. The Nagas Kings is when the empire that we call India today, which is the Ayurvedic line of kingship that was handed down through the Aryans. Those were the Nagas kings. Those are the same ones we were talking about earlier, Rich. The Dravidians, the Untouchables, the ones that like the Jacksons back in the early 70s when they had the afros and the big nose.
Right. Indeed. Let's get to this next question. What's your take on multiple plane crashes, as another plane just crashed in Philly?
Yeah, the chaos on the way out. The falling system got to create the chaos, but it's cold. Like Phase 1 did a good breakdown on the ritualistic aspect. D-Dale did one, and then this is another sister. She on my I was posting hers on my Facebook page. They all gave good breakdowns on the symbolism behind it. Right. So I give you them as references because they're gonna give you more details than I'm gonna give you right now because I'm in my dilly gap mode.
Okay. Let's get to the next question. What was the relationship between the Mississippians and the Arawak?
Most of the tribes was cordial before they began to be set against each other by the invaders. Even the warring tribes, when we was warring with each other, it wasn't nothing but a fist fight and everybody went home. It was when the settlers came, put guns in our hands, and we started killing each other.
Somebody, hold up. Somebody asked about your Cash App. I done wrote it so many times. I remember. Hold up. SikApe, right, Rod?
Yeah.
Let me put that up here. Yeah. For those who wanna inquiring about supporting the brother Rod Hayes, you can hit the Cash App up. $ SIKAPE is the way that you can support this genius brother we got here. I don't know what to call him, man, but the brother was channeling, he was tapped in tonight. He was definitely tapped in. He, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what he's smoking on, but goddamn, the brother was tapped in tonight. So yeah, you can support the brother with Cash App, brother. Show the brother some love. This was a solid hour of information that I think every melanated folk, now we're all melanated, it's just different varying levels of melanin. But everybody, human being, should hear this show that was broadcast tonight. So make sure you'll support the brother $ SIKAPE. We're gonna do 2 more questions, y'all. I can't be on here too long, and I don't want to keep the brother too long. We're gonna do 2 more, then we're gonna get out of here. Somebody, do you know who this is? Somebody said, can you talk about the Rainbow Warriors prophecy? What's that, Rod? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, that was when, at the end of the Piscean age, the native elders, our elders from this land, prophesied that it will be a rainbow of tribes from different skin colors.
Mm.
And they would come together in the time of the crystal generation to usher in another world, a better world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an old prophecy. And most of it, if you asking about it, you already know what the prophecy is.
Indeed. Let's get to another question. Okay. Somebody said, who are the Abyssinians / Ethiopians in relation to us? Are they dirty Moors?
The Ethiopians is a whole different genetic stock from the ones we call dirty Moors, and they are different genetic stock from us. They got a different fatherland. So mitochondrially, we might be more related than we is by Y chromosome. And that was once known as the land of Inki. In the theosophy, they called him the old man Africa. But Africa wasn't called Africa before the Berlin Conference. But it was called Eastern Ethiopia, was Indus Valley, and Ethiopia proper was the Ethiops that the Greeks renamed. Land of the burnt faces.
Okay.
Egyptos, land of the dark faces.
Let's get to another question. Let's see. I think Rod answered this one already. The black no, yeah, he already talked about the black nobility. So I'm gonna try to get to a question that. All right. Somebody said, will we ever have access to other lands outside the Antarctica ice wall?
You got access now if you can afford to get there. But the wall is not a wall, it's a shelf.
It's a what?
A shelf.
What you mean?
You ever see that tree stump they call the mountain in Arizona?
Yeah.
You see how the top of it is flat? But the sides of it go up. Right? That's the shelf. The top is the shelf.
Okay.
right? What they call in the ice wall is just the outside of the freeze zone, right? A lot of the icebergs over the millennia have broken off from there and floated into the oceans at different places and eventually melted,
Right.
right? But it's the wall has a shelf on the top that covers the land, most of the land of Antarctica. All of it not covered with ice, just most of it. But they came from a splash. So imagine a upsplash of water suddenly freeze,
Right.
right? And that's what happened because it pierced in the last Anunnaki war that caused the ice age, that nuclear winter. It shifted the Earth in its atmosphere, like pushing the yolk outside of the egg, right? And then it got flash froze. That's what make it be frozen.
All right. All right. I think that is it, y'all. That is it. I guess this is a good way to conclude the show, Rod. They want to know, what are we supposed to be doing as a people right now to prepare for what's to come? This is the conclude the show tonight, y'all. What should we be doing to prepare for what's to come, Rod?
Study family banking, build stronger family ties, and communicate as much as possible with like-minded people in the open as much as possible. And don't fall for none of the fear tactics. And we good.
So we should be getting closer to our family, you saying?
Yeah.
Rod, a lot of people don't fuck with their family, Rod. I'm sorry to tell you, man. People be like,
listen, Rich, even if they don't mess with their own family, they mess with a family.
Yeah, you're right.
They got a family that they love. Like, this the family I should have been born in.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the tribe energy. They tribing up doing that.
Right.
Your relatives is people you born with. Your friends is the family you pick, and your family is the ones that ride with you till the wheels fall off.
Right.
The bonds of affection is tied by the ties of loyalty, right? And you know the ones that got your best interest at heart. Like anywhere I go, if I got a relative there, I can pull up and go get a blanket out the closet and lay down and go to sleep.
Right.
They're not gonna have no problem with it. But there's some people that can't do that.
Yeah.
They show up at their family house, they might meet firearms.
Yeah.
But everybody got a family that they click with. And this is why we never had orphans. Because somebody gonna take you in. But the family dynamic is not gonna change. Family gonna have a family structure. They're gonna have strong ties. They're gonna enjoy each other. They're gonna commonly gather, you know, and do what family do.
Indeed. Oh man, what a show, right, y'all? What we got? We got about 3,000 people in the chat. I know y'all enjoyed it. Y'all done stuck around, man. All 3,000 y'all done stuck around. Man, Rod, what a show, man. I'm glad I called you to do this show tonight. I'm glad we chose the topic. Once again, family, me and Rod going to do a part 2 to help us to tap into our ESP, extrasensory perception, telepathy, telekinesis, all that good stuff, all these abilities we got. We're going to do a part 2 of my Patreon next week, definitely. Make sure you're a part of Patreon, family. Also, the 9 the God Fest will be on Patreon as well. So you want to be a Patreon to get all of the goodies, all right? Rod, what any contact info you want to leave the people with before we get out of here?
You know, they can find me on Facebook at Rod Hayes. My profile and background change often. And you can find me on the SikApe on Instagram. Otherwise, you catch me here with Brother Rich or with the Young Elder over there. And occasionally other people invite me, and I show up there too. Shout out to True Seekers 88. They had me on there a couple times on Rumble. Right. The reason why they call it the sandbar is the reference to the Plymouth, because they had to keep that ship out there in order to maintain the term called occupation. If you don't understand military occupation, then you don't even, that's why you can't unravel American history. The military occupation is something that happened as a result of a war and an invasion. If you go back to 2001, you can get a crash course in military occupation of two countries after 9/11, Iraq and Afghanistan. They handled both of them different, but they occupied both of them, right? One, they established a whole new leadership regime, right? And the other one, they just shifted the political party that was ruling out of the picture and put an alternative political party in power. The side effect to that is the political party they put in power was infiltrated by the political party that they ousted and then reclaimed under the same name that you put out there. And that's why they keep saying America never won a war. They say we won, but we always end up paying the bill like we losing. Look, the Cold War.
Right.
If you get a 1995, 85, 75 almanac, and you look for gross domestic product, gross national product, right? Then you look for economic aid. Go to the country of Russia, and it's going to tell you in there exactly how much annual aid Russia, the USSR, was getting from the United States. It roughly was about $6 billion a year, right? When Israel was established, America was paying Israel under the pretense of World War II reparations. So that means that we had to lose to Germany. Operation Paperclip.
Yeah,
right?
I was wondering why they was paying them, bro. You just told me that why, because I was like, damn, why we paying? They lost if Germany the one that did them, you know?
So they want us to think we won the First World War, the Second World War. They want us to think that the same people won the Civil War, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and the American Revolution. That's not the case. Anything that would cause what's called lose face, right? If anything caused you to lose face, that means you lose value in the presence of others. Then they have to cover that up. They don't want you to know they weak as they are, because they relying on you to let them use your strength that you don't even know you lending them.
I didn't even know that them. That's the reason why they were paying. Because I was trying to figure out why is America paying Israel for what Germany did to them. That don't even make no sense. So now,
if you go through the almanac, almost every country America was giving economic aid to. Some of them is classified, most of them is economic aid or some kind of financial relief. Mm-hmm. And we the richest country in the world, well, we paying every country in the world. Right. That don't make sense. You can't keep your status if you got a leak in your rear end.
Yeah. That's what Donald Trump said about the that we was paying $300 billion or something to Canada every year. And then I know why they paid Japan. Japan is because of the they dropped the bomb on them, and that's like international type things when they gotta but what's the deal on that? Go ahead.
The pride of the Japanese, they've been stopped accepting reparations for World War II.
Yeah.
You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to outdo America in auto manufacturing, clothing manufacturing, technical manufacturing, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And hold on 1 second now. This episode's calling.
Hey, y'all, if you just not tuning in, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, man. We got SikApe in the Northgate. We're going to take questions, get some of y'all questions from the crowd, man, so we can, take some of the questions y'all might have. And I got a couple questions for Rod to start it out, and then we'll take questions from y'all. So if you're just not tuning in, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you share it. And we're going to crack heads and twist caps, man. You already know how Rod do it. We picking the lock here. We picking we going through the time machine, and we piecing the puzzle together. Most of my questions is stimulated around. We're gonna get to your questions, Sugar Shane. Hey, most of my questions is stimulated around what's going on now. You know. Hey, Rod. So you left off while Japan said that they don't want to take no money from U.S. dollars no more. Nobody wants the U.S. dollar for that matter.
Well, that was before BRICS.
Go ahead.
Japan is trying to outcompete in productivity and quality products. Hold on, let's show you something. I was working at GM. They was telling us about this guy, and I started doing research on him. His name is Dr. Deming, and he came up with this quality program for productivity, quality, what they call quality control measures. The Japanese, when Ford, Chrysler, GM turned him down and said they didn't want to hear it. So because he was already an auto executive, he was going on a trip to Japan. He presented it to the Japanese auto manufacturers. This is where your Lexus come from, your Lexus and your Infiniti. So when he presented it to them, they was like, that's the key, because if you go back to before the 70s and even in the 70s, when you seen something that has a stamp on it said made in America, you knew you had some top of the line A1 best made stuff on the planet. Don't nobody do it like us. But now